So imagine an AI that doesn't just answer your questions, but can actually do things for you. That's what we mean by agentic AI. But here's the million-dollar question. How do you let this kind of power loose on your most sensitive data without, exposing it to the entire world? That's the huge puzzle of private agentic AI. And today, we're going to break it down. This is it. This is the core question that's keeping so many people up at night. You see the incredible things AI can do, you want those capabilities, but the risk of a data breach is just terrifying. Is it even possible to have the best of both worlds? In this example right here just hits the nail on the head. Let's say you're in healthcare. Using AI to summarize patient documents could be an absolute game changer, right? But if you use a public tool, you could be sending protected health information to a third party. That's a massive HIPAA violation. It's a non-starter, you just can't risk it. And that brings us right to the fundamental roadblock for so many industries that want to get in on the AI revolution. Look, for huge parts of our economy, it's not even a debate. Public AI is a total deal breaker. If you're in healthcare, finance, law, or defense, those consumer-facing LLMs and public APIs are completely off the table. The privacy rules and compliance headaches are just way too big. So what's the fix? How do we unlock all that amazing AI power inside these really important fields? Well, the answer is to build something called private agentic flows. Okay, so what in the world is a private agentic flow? It's pretty simple, actually. It's an AI that can think and act for you. But, and this is the critical part, all of your sensitive data stays safely behind your own firewall. Nothing ever leaves your control. So how do these things actually work? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the architecture to see what makes these private systems tick. It really all boils down to this simple but really powerful three-layer setup. You've got the foundation, the augmentation, and the action layers. Let's walk through each one. First up, you've got the foundation. This is the bedrock of the whole system. The large language model itself, doesn't matter if it's open source or not, runs completely on your own infrastructure. That could be your own servers or in your own private cloud. The main point is, it's yours. It lives in your house. Next, we have the augmentation layer. Okay, think of this like the AI's own private library. It connects to your internal stuff, your documents, your databases. It uses this really cool technique called retrieval augmented generation, or RAG, which basically gives the AI an open book test. Instead of just guessing based on its general knowledge, it can look up the correct company-specific info right then and there to give you useful answers. And the best part? That book never leaves the library. Your data stays put. And finally, layer 3, the action layer. This is where the agent gets its toolbox. It's basically a set of internal APIs that let the agent actually do things, like pull a record from a database or create a new document. Every single thing it does happens securely right inside your network. Now, it would be awesome if just putting everything behind a firewall magically solved every single problem. But, it doesn't. There are still some hidden risks we really need to talk about. Yeah, so even inside your own fortress, there are things to watch out for. First, there's this thing called data embedding. When you fine-tune a model on your data, little bits of that sensitive information can get baked right into the model's memory, kind of like a permanent tattoo. And that creates a second problem, a compliance nightmare. You've got regulations like GDPR that give people the right to be forgotten. But how do you delete data that's been woven into the very fabric of your AI? It's a huge challenge. And finally, you can't forget about insider threats. An authorized user could, by accident or not by accident, ask the wrong question and get the AI to spit out sensitive information it shouldn't. So, knowing all that, how do we really lock these systems down? How do we build a true AI fortress? All right, building that fortress really comes down to 3 essential safeguards. These are pretty much non-negotiable. First, anonymize your data. Before any info even gets close to the AI, you have to scrub all the personally identifiable stuff out of it. It's step 1 for a reason. Second, strict access controls. You need to log everything. Who is asking what and when. You need that audit trail. And third, this one is so important. Practice data minimization. This just means you only give the AI the absolute minimum data it needs to do its job. An AI that sets appointments doesn't need to see a patient's entire medical history, right? It's about giving out specific keys, not the master key to the whole building. And I really want to emphasize, this is not some far-off, futuristic idea. This is happening right now. Developers in the most regulated industries on the planet are already building these private agents.
In healthcare, just like we talked about, agents are helping out by summarizing patient histories and drafting communications, and all of that patient data never, ever leaves the hospital's secure network. Then you've got financial services. Teams are building fraud detection agents that can sift through enormous amounts of transaction data, and it's all happening securely inside the bank's own walls. It's the same story in the legal world. Law firms are using these agents to search their private case files and help draft contracts, all while guaranteeing complete client confidentiality. And of course, in government and defense, probably the most locked down sector there is, private agents aren't just a good idea, they're the only option. They're being used to analyze classified documents where using public AI is just unthinkable. This quote just sums it all up perfectly. For any organization that handles sensitive information, this shift is basically inevitable. The real question isn't should we do this, but how fast can we make it happen? And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. When you look at the power, the security, and frankly the necessity of this technology, you have to ask, is your organization ready for the private AI revolution?